NBA fans, after what seems like an eternity, we finally have the return of NBA playoff basketball. Took a long road to get here, but we finally here. We have our matchups set, and today we're going to predict the winners of the first round of the playoffs. Let's get into it. Now we're going to start off with the Eastern Conference. We have our top seed Milwaukee Bucks against the 8th seed Orlando Magic. Now this should be a runaway series for the Bucks. I have them winning in 4 games. They have the better player. They have the better team. The Bucks have depth, versatility. Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, Brook Lopez, DiVincenzo. They have a great coach, Budenholzer. They shouldn't really have any trouble with the Magic, especially with them losing Jonathan Isaac and then Obama being out as well. The Magic just don't have the talent, and they just don't have the skill level that the Bucks have. So even though the Magic do play well defensively, this is a matter of just the Bucks being a more talented team and having the more talented players. So not going to take too long on this. I got the Bucks winning in 4. Should be easy. Shouldn't really. Maybe the Magic muster up 1 game or something, but I just don't believe it. I think the Bucks are just going to dominate. So Bucks in 4. Our next series, we have the Toronto Raptors going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Now I think the Toronto Raptors take this series in 4, maybe 5 games. The Nets play hard, even though they don't have Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie, Durant. They still play very hard. As we seen in that game against the Trailblazers, they were in it to the very end. They have a couple nice young players. Karis LeVert, obviously. Jared Allen. Chris Chioza's playing decent. My guy, Cabarrot, has been playing decent as well off the bench. Sometimes starting, depending on who's playing and who's not. Garrett Temple. I'm a big Garrett Temple fan. I'm a Wizards fan, so I know about Garrett Temple. I like his play style. Good vet. I love Garrett Temple. So I can see the Nets picking up maybe 1 win, but once again, this is a talent thing. I believe the Raptors are a more talented team, not even to mention having a great head coach in Nick Nurse. The Raptors have versatility offensively and defensively. They may not have a big superstar, but they play so well. They're like a well-oiled machine. They play well together. Everybody plays their role, and I think they're going to handle the Nets in maybe 5 games, but I'm going to go say in 4. I'm going to say in 4. Now, our next matchup is the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, originally, I thought this was going to be a pretty good, tight series. I still think it's going to be a decent series, but with the injury to Ben Simmons, I have the Celtics taking this in 6 games. Maybe 5, but I'm going to say 6. I think the 76ers, I wouldn't be surprised if they took 2 off the Celtics. The 76ers are, I wouldn't say talent-wise, they're just below the Celtics now with Ben Simmons being gone, because they still have Horford, they still have Embiid, obviously, if he can stay healthy throughout the whole series and not have all these lingering issues. But Tobias Harris, they paid him big money. Korkmaz, Thibault, they still have a lot of talent on that team to be competitive. Without Ben Simmons, that lowers their chances of winning that series greatly, though. And that's the issue. And that's what takes this series from a toss-up to me thinking the Celtics with Hayward, Kemba, Smart, Tatum, Brown. It takes that series and leans it heavily, for me, more towards the Celtics. Because now I feel like the Celtics have one less thing to worry about, obviously, with Ben Simmons. Even though everybody say, Simmons can't shoot, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's going to see how big of a piece Simmons is to the 76ers and how big of a deal he is to their success. Simmons is an issue. You got a game plan for him, regardless if people make jokes about him not shooting the 3-ball or not. You have to game plan for Ben Simmons, and now that's gone. There's a big factor gone. So that's one less thing the Celtics have to worry about. And with Brad Stevens at the helm, I'm very confident in the Celtics' abilities. Brett Brown, a little more shaky. You know, you don't really know. Sometimes he does good, sometimes he does bad. But Brad Stevens, I'm confident in what I'm getting from his team and his game plan almost every game. So I'm going to go to Celtics in 6. Wouldn't be surprised if it was done in 5 though. But I'm going to go 6 out of my respect for the 76ers. Our next series is a series that's been hyped up by the media, you know, due to the whole Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren thing. Personally, I think it's overblown by the media to create storylines to generate, you know, views for the series. But that's their job. You know, it's 2 competitive players. They got into it. Happens all the time. I don't know why it's such a big deal thing. I mean, now. But I guess because TJ Warren has excelled in the bubble. But Heat versus Pacers. I'm going Heat. I'm going Heat in 6. I believe the Heat are the more talented team. I think the Pacers are going to be hurt badly by Sabonis not being there. That's going to hurt them. Yes, they have Oladipo, Brogdon, Turner, TJ Warren, even though he's dealing with a foot injury at the moment. Plantar fasciitis. Don't judge me. I don't really know the term like that. I forgot it. But he has a foot injury. I think the Heat with Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, all of those guys, Olynyk, Kendrick Nunn. I think they have a more talented team. I believe that I like their coach better, Spoelstra. I think that they're a gritty team. You know, not even to mention Jay Crowder, they're a gritty team. They fight, they play hard, they play smart. They have a lot of versatility. They got a lot of dogs on that team. And I think the Heat are just going to outwork the Pacers. I like the Pacers. I just think the Sabonis injury is going to be too tough to overcome because he was such a big part of their success this season. I just think the Heat are going to be too much in the end. Out of respect to the Pacers, I still think they can grab like 2 games. But in totality, I think the Heat are the better team. They should win this series. I have them in 6. I think Jimmy Butler's going to do his thing. I love Bam Adebayo. That's my favorite player out of both teams. I love his game. Young guy. The dude is special. He's a special player. I'm really hoping to see. I like that matchup with Bam and Miles Turner. Hoping what we can get out of them. So I'm going with the Heat. Now to get to the West Coast in our 1 versus 8 seed matchup that everybody wants to talk about. The Lakers versus the Trailblazers. Will the Trailblazers upset the Los Angeles Lakers? The answer to that question is no. I got the Lakers winning in 5. Now, I love Dame Lillard, bubble MVP. He's been balling. He's been doing his thing. CJ McCollum been clutch. Melo hit his clutch shots when needed. Gary Trent Jr., Yusuf Nurkic, they've all been balling. You know, but the thing with all of their games is they've been dogfights. They've been shootouts. They have no defense. They have no defensive stopper. Who is going to contain LeBron James and stop him from getting to the basket at will? John Morant got to the basket at will. Karis LeVert got to the basket at will. The Trailblazers have no stoppers. AD's going to dominate. I'm expecting that. LeBron's going to dominate. I'm expecting that. And that's going to open up the floor for Green if he can hit a corner 3. Kuzma, Deion Waiters, Caldwell Pope. That's going to open the door for their role players to have success. Because LeBron and AD are going to be able to dominate in the inside. LeBron's going to be able to get downhill. I don't think the Trailblazers is going to be able to outshoot and have shootouts with the Lakers every game like they have with the Grizzlies and the Nets and all these other teams. They're not going to be able to have these shootout games. They're going to have to get stops. And I don't think they're capable of doing that. I don't think they have, you know, the personnel to strap up defensively consistently. And so I got the Lakers in 5. You know, I know a lot of people think, oh, maybe the Blazers could do it. Maybe the Blazers are an 8th seed for a reason. Sorry to say. You know, Dame has been putting up 60, 50 points, and they've been winning by 3 points, 2 points. You know, that's a lot of work to barely get wins. And the reason for that is they can't stop anybody. So I'm going Lakers in 5. Our next series is the Clippers versus the Mavericks. I think this is a nice matchup. I really like the Mavericks. I really like the Clippers. I'm going to go with the Clippers here in 6 games. I like the Mavericks, but I just think they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. They got some more things to do. Another year of growth for Luka. You know, KP together. They could add some free agents and whatnot. I just don't think right now their talent matches up with the Clippers. You know, Luka does his thing, great player. Kristaps does his thing, nice player. You know, I like Seth Curry. You know, I like a good amount of things about the Mavericks. I do think that they need, I don't know, I would say, another scoring type role player. You know, I feel like that'll help them a lot, especially late game. Like I said, I really do like Luka, but I don't think him and KP are at that level and have the team that Kawhi and Paul George have. You know, with Lou Williams and Montrez coming back, and Shaman and Beverly and all of those guys. I think the Clippers are the more talented team. I think this is the head coach Doc Rivers, Rick Carlisle, good head coach matchup. I do think the Mavericks get 2-0 for the Clippers. I think the Mavericks fight. I think they fight. They put up a good fight. But I think in the end, the star players, you know, Paul George and Kawhi, show why they are the star players of their teams. I think the role players is going to be the big difference. I think Lou Williams, Patrick Beverly, all of those guys, Marcus Morris, I think they do their thing. And that's going to really be the difference between, you know, the Mavericks winning and the Clippers winning. I think not really the stars, not Luka and KP and Kawhi and Paul George, but the team around them. And I think the Clippers have a better surrounding team. And that's why I got to give the edge to the Clippers. But I do think the Mavericks are going to fight. I really like the Mavericks. And I'm looking for them to really be a contender next season. But right now, I got to go give it to the Clippers in 6. Our next series is the Jazz versus the Nuggets. Now, I think the Nuggets win this series. And I think the Nuggets win this series in 6. The thing for me with the Jazz is I think that Bogdanovich injury is going to kill him. That's like 20 points gone. Bogdanovich averages around 20 points per game this season. That's 20 points gone. That's tough to replace. I think the Nuggets, they just had the emergence of Michael Porter Jr. That gives them a whole nother, you know, dimension to their offense. With Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, of course, obviously. And then you add Michael Porter Jr. onto that next to Millsap and Torrey Craig. You know, Plumlee off the bench. And all of those guys. I feel like the Nuggets are one of those teams who are just so well-functioned. They're a well-functioned team, similar to the Raptors, even though the Nuggets have arguably the best center in the NBA. But the Nuggets are just such a well-oiled machine to me. I feel like the Bogdanovich thing is going to really hurt the Jazz. I like Donovan Mitchell. Gobert is cool. You know, Joe Ingles is nice. Royce O'Neal. I like those guys. Jordan Clarkson off the bench. But I think the talent level is, once again, the talent is going to be the difference maker here with the Nuggets. I just think the Nuggets are going to be the more talented team. I think missing that role player and that scoring of Bogdanovich for the Jazz is just really going to hurt at the end of the day. But I still think the Jazz are a very good team. Once again, that's why I give them respect. I think they can take 2 off of the Nuggets. But the Nuggets are always where they are in the seedings for a reason. I think the Nuggets are a very good team, and I think they can make some noise. I think they are one of the more slept on teams in the West. You know, they're always good. They're talked about, but not to the level as like the Rockets, you know, and other teams like that. But they're a very good team. I got them winning in 6. I think they're the more talented team. So, we'll see. And I saved the most toss-up series of them all for last. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Houston Rockets. Now, this is tough. This is the only series I have going to 7 games. And it's tough because I have no idea which way it can go, because it can literally go either way. And the reason I say that is because of the Russell Westbrook injury. I feel like that turned the tides even more towards OKC. But I'm going to go with the Rockets in 7. I think Westbrook's going to come back. I think Harden can hold his own with the team around him, even though they run that unorthodox lineup, and I think Steven Adams is going to eat. I think the Rockets can hold them off. Russell can come back, and I think they can win in 7. You know, this is a series where, you know, kind of I look towards home court advantage, but there is no home court. That makes it even tougher. If you're betting on this game in this series, good luck to you, because it's literally a toss-up. Thunder, well-run team with CP3, Shea, Gallinari, my guy Steven Adams, Dort, Baisley off the bench, Schroeder off the bench. They got a lot of good players. They are a very well-run team. Defy the odds already. Nobody didn't think they were going to do anything coming into the season. But lo and behold, here we are. The Rockets. I think the Rockets are a well-run team too, but I think the Rockets are a more unique team. Not just because of them not playing with a center. It's because they have that element of just 2 completely different play styles. With James Harden, you have a finesse. You have a lethal, methodical offense. With Russell Westbrook, you have a aggressive, run it down your throat, fast pace, punch you in the mouth type offense. It's like 2 different play styles with 2 different players. Harden brings the finesse. Westbrook brings the aggression. But with no Westbrook at the beginning, that you lose that. The Rockets lose that. And you never know. Thunder take game 1 and game 2. That's all the momentum they need. You know, it's tough. This series is very interesting. I'm going to go Rockets in 7. But I would not be surprised at all if the Oklahoma City Thunder came on top in this series. I really wouldn't be surprised. So that's my first round predictions. We're going to have an update when round 1 is over, and we're going to do round 2 next. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I always make content. I'm a Wizards guy, but I also like talking about the NBA, and I'm thinking about branching out. So until next time, guys, peace.